A big welcome to both experienced and new Flutter developers. We're going to introduce you to some key 360 media development techniques with Flutter. We have some source code available as a starting point. We're also giving out a free camera as part of a challenge. It's kind of a luck of the draw, it's not competition, and we have information about that in this video. The camera is not needed for this tutorial. And if you're not familiar with Flutter, it's time to hop on the bandwagon right now. Flutter is developed by Google. We've used React Native in the past over at .guide and in the OpKey office. We use JavaScript quite a bit, but Flutter is a joy to work with. This is just my personal opinion. I mean, if you love JavaScript, more power to you and power ahead with it. But if you want to try something a little bit different, maybe a little easier with the Dart language, this is the video for you. If you're not familiar with Flutter at all, and you're just trying to checking it out, it's getting popular very quickly. Some people say it's growing faster than React Native, and it's more widely used than React Native right now. Of course, open to interpretation. Make your own assessment. A quick heads up about why you should maybe check out Flutter at least. If you type in Flutter versus React Native, you're going to find a bunch of articles. This one's on the Stack Overflow blog. It's a popular site used by developers. And this guy, Theo, is saying that Flutter is quite a bit more popular than React Native. Of course, open to interpretation. The number of questions on Stack Overflow has increased very rapidly about Flutter. So there's a lot of very active discussion about Flutter. And Flutter is evolving very rapidly right now. The template skeleton Flutter application that we're going to introduce to you from GitHub is, take a picture, it'll have a progress indicator. This one is using the block architecture for Flutter. It's going to save it to a gallery, and then if it's ready to take another picture, you'll be able to take a picture. And then it accesses the photo or gallery picker on the native iOS or Android phone. And eventually you can get it to view a panorama. We're asking you to change the panorama as a challenge right now. We'll walk you through all of these steps and show you the code. If you want more information on the challenge, you can go to this URL where we have full details. It's a luck of the draw. It's not a competition. But if you do the challenge, you'll have some fun, learn about Flutter, and get a chance to win this $300 camera. This is actually the low-end model of the RICOH THETA line. It takes fantastic images, and it's quite widely used for, let's say, real estate or used car sales, astrophotography. It can be a lot of fun. So go to Theta 360 Developers. The project name is 12_take_save_display right here at the top. Go to code, copy it into the clipboard. I have my SSH keys enabled. If you don't have it, then you'd probably select HTTPS right there. But for me, since I have it configured with GitHub, I'm going to select SSH. I'm going to copy this to my clipboard, and let's rock and roll and clone it down. We'll do Git Clone. So on Linux, it's Control-Shift-V to just paste it in, and it's going to clone it down. I already have Flutter installed on my system. The Flutter version I have running is Flutter 3.0.5 running Dart 217.6. If you do not have the latest version of Flutter installed, it's Flutter Upgrade. If you are brand new, you don't have Flutter installed at all, it'll work on Mac, Windows, and Linux. Just go to flutter.dev, click on the Get Started, and select the platform of choice. Whoa, now there's Chrome OS too. So GitHub the clone will create this new repo for me, and I'll run flutter pub get. You can either use a physical device or a emulator. In this case, I'll use a physical Android device. So I'll open the thing up in VS Code. I have the Dart and Flutter extensions already installed in VS Code. There's the awesome Flutter snippets. I have block installed as well, although you don't need it. I have the Dart language. I have Flutter installed, all in my VS Code. After a few minutes, the emulator starts up with the application from GitHub. It did take a couple of minutes on my computer. My computer is relatively fast. We'll select not now. There is a warning here that comes up. This is not the application. This is actually one of the packages that we're using that has not been updated for Flutter 3. So if you see this warning, although it's red, I know you probably, oh, it's red, but just ignore it. You can even go to the Flutter dev site and search for this warning, and they're going to tell you to just ignore it until the packages, all the packages have been updated for Flutter 3. Okay, so it's right here. Right now there's no 360 images probably on your emulator here, so you won't be able to see any of the images here. But let's go ahead and grab it. So I'll start up Chrome in this case. I'll accept it. I won't add an account right now. Tiny URL .com/theta starter. Okay. Okay, now rock and roll. Okay, so let's scroll back up. So download media. I'm gonna grab one of these, maybe the Hard Rock Cafe. So it's going to download a 360 image. This one was taken by the photographer Toyo Fujita. He's kind of a well-known photographer, and he runs Ecoma 360. I just long clicked on it. You can't see it, but I did long click. I'm going to download the image right there. So when I download the image, this title just started in downloads. What's happening here? Okay, then I'll click it again. This is a thumbnail. And then you can see it in 360. Okay, I'm going to repeat the process again. And there's this DEGL. So I'm going to go pound DEGL. This is just the debugging information. All right, this picture looks fantastic. Good job, Toyo. Icon Kyoto Temple. Gold Toyo Fujita. It's a beautiful shot here. I'll download the image again. I'll just put it in download. Okay. And it's in downloads. We have the icon image here. After selecting the image, you can see a kind of a thumbnail version, and then you can see the full image in the full glory. Okay, so let's say you want another image. Let's try it again. So we'll go back here, and we'll try again. tinyurl.com/theta starter. Scroll down to the image, and we'll get maybe Blue Sea Adventure. Click and hold. Download the image. So if we go back to the app, then we can select the 360 image and view it. All right, so if I look at it in this orientation, you can see that if I move my finger on the screen, it will rotate, but it doesn't, actually is not using the sensors from the phone right now. The zoom will work here. And right now there's no hotspots. So let's take a look at the code and see if we can make some changes to this. I'm in the main.dart file here, and I'm just going to scroll down. There's actually a couple of different classes in the main.dart. The panorama is pretty small. So let's maybe let's first start off with enabling a default zoom for this one here. Just for illustration, we'll set the default zoom to 3, and then we'll access the panorama, and you can see that the default zoom is quite a bit larger, right? So I could zoom it out with the swiping, but if I were to restart it, the default zoom will appear at the 3. So let's compare it to maybe a default zoom of 5. So it would be very big. Set it back to 1. So there's a anim speed here, and we're going to set it for the orientation. So set the sensor and I think I need to set the longitudinal latitude, but let's give it a go first and see whether it works like this. Okay, it is working. I'll turn on the webcam so you can see what I see. The pixelation is from the screen mirroring software that I'm using. So now I have it in landscape mode, which is probably maybe what you would want to view it as. We're running a challenge right now, and the GitHub repository from Panorama, author Zeesage. So if you look in the example, he has quite a good example here. So let's run it, and I'll display my webcam so you can see what the phone's doing here. So okay, so he's got it. Orientation works, right? Pretty cool. So we could run our own apps in here, our own images, but he's also got some hotspots in here. So oh, where'd it go? So this one right here, you can jump to the next scene. And this one's kind of interesting because he's got a little animated GIF here as the actual scene. pretty cool example. Get another hotspot in here. So for the purpose of a demo, we'll just grab his hotspot here and we'll drop it into our code. Oh, this is his code. I'll stop it. I will open up our code and I'll drop it in. Oops. So for now, I will get rid of this. Let's see. And get rid of this. These are the actions. Oh. And he's got a hotspot button. Let's check it out. Maybe we can just use it. Okay, let's see if the hotspots work. Select the image. Oh, yeah. There's one hotspot. 2, 3. Okay. Let's just do a test print message here. Open in browser. We'll search it. Maybe this is, for example, go to next scene. Okay. Well, appears to be working. Okay, so you can usually trigger a change in the image at this point if you built some additional code. So that's just really the start of some type of interface for the 360 images. I think you could do stacked layers and many other things. Hope that you do take a shot at the challenge and have fun doing so. Maybe you'll learn something and you'll get a shot at winning this nice RICOH THETA SC2 camera or cash equivalent.